Hi guys, the episode that you're just about to listen to is generously sponsored by our affiliates Board Game Crate. Board Game Crate provide a monthly subscription service where they get fresh new games delivered straight to your door. Just head over to www.boardgamecrate.co.uk, and furthermore, if you use our discount code UnluckyFrogIsAwesome, all lowercase, all one word, you'll get a cheeky little discount. It's easy to remember because it's true. Hi guys, and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by your usual hosts, Josh Hartley and Ben Porter. Ben, as always, how has the week been?
Bit hit and miss, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how come?
Oh, just people, Josh.
Who's upset you?
Well,
you're gonna have to go into it now.
No, it's too long a list, frankly.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give me a flavour, a taster, an aperitif?
It's nothing that exciting. It's just people just piss me off sometimes.
I'd have never have known that.
Yeah. you know, are you familiar at all with the Book of Exodus?
Aye.
Right. And you know, like Moses, he goes up the mountain and like he speaks with God, and
yes.
then he gets given the tablets.
The tablets with the Ten Commandments.
He's had this totally phenomenal experience,
mm-hmm.
and then he comes down and just sees the Israelites like dicking about, and they've made a golden calf. And it's like, I turn my back.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're making false idols.
Yeah.
Out of gold. Guys, we needed that gold.
Yeah, so he's had this like sublime experience, and then he just loses it, and he just throws the tablet down. I completely empathise with Moses in that story. I would have done exactly the same thing.
Have people been making golden calves behind your back?
Not quite, but if they had, they would have known all about it.
That would have been the last straw.
Yeah, I would have totally opened up the earth and let it swallow them up and all that, you know?
You just like, you had it coming.
Yeah, I didn't want to do this. But you've driven me to it.
So in summary, that's your week.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a long week for me as well. I'm glad to see the back of it. We're recording on Friday night, guys. As of when this gets uploaded, though, we will have said so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. That's the most appropriate, because Essen will have finished by the time that you are listening.
Well, I think it will still be going, depending on when they're listening.
Yes,
because it'll still be going on the Sunday, right? But that's the big event.
Yeah. So have we? I mean, obviously, last week's episode we talked a lot about the games we were anticipating.
Yeah.
Has there been any further news coming out of Essen?
Well, Games Workshop took the opportunity to do a few reveals.
Okay.
So WizKids are going to be producing a licensed Games Workshop game.
For Age of Sigmar, isn't it?
It's Age of Sigmar. It's called Rise of Anvalor.
Okay.
It's a game for 1 to 4 players, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set in the realm of fire,
mm-hmm.
Akshai, in a place called the Great Parch. So it's a big desert. And the players control one of the various factions in the city of Anvalor, and you're trying to rebuild it together. Right. And like any good political faction, you are working towards the common good whilst trying to further your own agenda at the same time.
I don't think any politicians operate like that.
No, apparently not anymore.
No, they've skipped the first bit.
Yeah. But that's why I said like good political, a competent political faction anyway.
Yeah.
Will more often than not do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's things like you have to repel invasions. You're building buildings, so I'm quite excited for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I've been hurt before by by licensed games. Now, although to be fair, right, the GW licensed games that Fantasy Flight did were excellent.
Yeah. Invasion, Bloodbowl Team Manager. Chaos in the Old World had its balance issues, but was still a fun game.
Yeah, exactly. On the other hand, though, you have Magic the Gathering, which obviously I hold very dear. Their licensed games have
been shit.
Yeah, universally pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Basically, I mean, it sounds interesting for sure. Do we have a release date at all? Or
I think it's spring of next year.
Cool.
So it's not that far away.
So we'll find out in good time.
Yeah, I mean we've got box art and all that. We'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Excellent. So that's one reveal.
One reveal. They've also revealed a new warband. So the new faction is called Molloag's Mob. Molloag's Mob. Yeah, try saying that with a drink in you.
Try saying it without a drink.
Yeah, Molloag's Mob.
This is the widely hinted at sort of Cadbury selection of fungal monsters.
Right. So Molloag is a troll or Troggoth. Because
a load of mushrooms on his back.
Copyright, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dank-hold Troggoth.
He's so dank. With his dank memes.
Yeah.
But he's got some squig buddies with him as well.
So this again is quite thematic for Night Vault, because in Shadespire we were gambling, cavorting through the ruins of Shadespire. Here we're in the more sinister catacombs and laboratories. So it stands to reason that there's some weird experimental stuff down there.
Yeah.
And these guys are a bunch of freaks.
Yeah, they're hideous.
Yeah.
We've seen the model for Molloag before, and he's excellent.
I think he was the first Night Vault model to be revealed.
Yeah, very impressive. But his squig buddies are good, including the winged squid. Squig.
So we've got the bat squig, stalag squig.
Stalag squig. So stalagmite.
And a spite shroom.
Lovely. Just delightful.
They look absolutely mental.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because he's got that big sort of club type thing that Molloag might be a spellcaster.
Do you think?
I think he might be.
Interesting.
I think that this warband is going to be like one big, really powerful guy and the three little shits that dance around him.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. You've got to imagine the troll's going to be pretty hard to kill.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all pans out. Do we have a release date for these guys?
The next few months.
Okie doke.
Is all that they've said. So
the usual MO now is to really release two warbands at the same time. So we'll find out if that's still going to be the case and who will be joining them in the Night Vault. And finally, from Games Workshop, these guys look fantastic.
Yeah.
We have a Death Bloodbowl team.
They look awesome, but I seem to recall Death were a bit subpar.
Right, okay.
In Bloodbowl back in the days. I mean, was that not the case?
I don't know. I can't profess to be a Blood Bowl aficionado. I'll ask Ewan. Shout out Ewan Bowers, one of our Patreons.
I played the what was essentially the digital version.
The video game was pretty much a recreation of the original.
I remember playing season mode. Whenever you saw Death come up, you're like, great.
We've got an easy one, lads.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at the same time, they're really cool models.
They're really cool models. They might have also retooled them a bit.
Buffed them up a bit, maybe. So we'll see. So in terms of any other Spiel announcements or news?
So Hub Games, who are probably most well known at the moment for being the company that are working on and publishing Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr. It's been getting quite a lot of press at the moment for being for tackling some difficult and unusual themes.
Yeah.
They were robbed at Essen.
Oh.
So €3,000 was stolen from their stand.
Was in cash or stock?
I believe it was cash.
Right.
Because from what I understand, attendees are being encouraged to take cash in with them.
Okay.
Because I think it's a combination of a lot of the vendors just don't have
card machines,
yeah. And I think also there are problems with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, getting
in the facility.
Getting several thousand card machines connected to a single Wi-Fi is probably a logistical nightmare.
So on the one hand, you can understand why they've done that, but on the other, it feels a little bit irresponsible telling people to take a load of cash into a venue that is packed with thousands of people.
Yeah. And it's just rubbish. I mean, this sort of stuff happens in the world all the time, but obviously when it happens in our hobby, you can't. My reaction's always like, oh, "Come on, guys, we're better than this, right?" Like,
I mean, there's a bit of that, but at the same time, I think that I think these notions, like when people talk about the tabletop community, it's not really a community.
Wow.
Well, no, but it isn't.
Bold statements.
It's not really. No, but if you think about it, it's not. It's really a collection of lots of little communities.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And a lot of the time they don't interact with one another. And the fact of the matter is that exponentially, the more people that you have in a hobby, the more likely you are to have arseholes there.
Yeah. Who will steal $3,000?
Yeah, I have graphs and things that I can show to illustrate this.
What does the arsehole gamer Venn diagram look like? Is there a lot of overlap there?
Yeah, I think a lot more. There's a lot more overlap, I think, than people would be comfortable acknowledging.
The arsehole politician Venn diagram.
But there's not actually a Venn diagram for that. It's just like
just a circle.
Yeah. It's more. You can literally accurately represent that with like a pie chart.
Yeah.
And there's like a barely perceptible sliver of not arsehole. So where it is nice to have these notions that the tabletop community is this really inclusive and forward-thinking thing, the reality is you've got a certain amount of people who have some different interpretations as to what is acceptable and what is not.
Well, our thoughts with Hub Games, we're really sorry to hear what's
Apparently,
happened.
They have caught one of the guys responsible.
Okay.
Allegedly. So hopefully it does get resolved because, I mean, being robbed is unpleasant for anyone, but when you're a smaller company...
No, that can be crippling. $3,000's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone. So...
Yeah.
So, no, I hope it all works out and you get at least some of the money back. But yeah, it's a sad note.
On a positive note, it's good in a way that this is news. Because it highlights just how unusual it is.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
So
nice positive spin.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But yes, so as things unfold at Essen, obviously we will keep you guys up to date. We're giving a lot of shout-outs to some of our friends and listeners who are hanging out there in Essen. My favourite so far has actually been seeing the Unlucky Frog t-shirt on display proudly with Scott wielding a big hammer as well.
It's actually an axe.
Is it an axe?
It's an axe.
It kind of looked like a hammer.
It kind of, but the reason I know it's an axe is it's a replica of a weapon from Destiny.
Okay, all right.
So I've wielded that in game. I'll have you know.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Very good. Medals on its way here.
So it was one of Unlucky Frog's very own patrons, Scott Russell.
Yes. So thanks for spreading the Unlucky Frog iconography across in Essen, Scott. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and indeed everyone else who's made it out to Deutschland is enjoying their time there and getting plenty of games bought and played. Right, yeah. What else has been happening in the world of tabletop news?
The last item to cover off is we are finally getting an Arkham Knights event in the UK.
Where's it going to be?
It's sold out.
Oh.
And it's in Huddersfield.
Now, my first thoughts when I was told this is that they deliberately went for the most terrifying place in the UK. Sorry for our listeners who live in Huddersfield, but if anything, you should know.
So it's like, do you feel like at this meeting they were like, right, we want
to channel dark energy. Where can we go? Where can we have this event in the UK?
We want these players to have a truly immersive, horrifying
experience. So they're going to Huddersfield. Huddersfield's all right, actually. It gets a bad rep, but it's one of these. There are lots of towns in the north of England, right?
Yeah. Why did you pick that one?
Yeah. It is an odd choice, though. I'd have thought like a big city like Manchester, if you were going to do it in the north of England. Or,
yeah, maybe a bit more of a hub.
Yeah.
So it's IQ Games.
Yes.
In Huddersfield.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. It's the first I've heard of them actually. Was with this event. I believe
it's a big deal for them.
Yeah, it's sold out already.
How many tickets were there? Do we know?
I'm not sure about that.
Because the Arkham horror card game has been really popular, so
yeah,
I've got to imagine that's a lot of people are going to descend on Huddersfield to witness the horror. And to play Arkham Horror. It's a joke that keeps giving.
Yeah.
We're going to really piss someone off who loves Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I've never actually been to Huddersfield, so...
Well, you know how they say it's grim up north?
Yeah.
There we are.
Is Huddersfield like...
Huddersfield's like the physical manifestation of the north of England.
Of northern grimness.
Right.
So is that, welcome to Huddersfield, the spirit of northern grimness.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing.
Aye. You know, it's a bit like, you know how people up in Scotland will describe the weather as dramatic.
Yeah.
When what they really mean is the weather's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sort of, whenever you're saying something positive about Huddersfield, it's actually a sly dig at the place.
It's slightly barbed.
Yeah.
But
it's in the middle of beautiful countryside, though. Like, that's what's going for it. Like,
it's kind of like a sort of growth on the face of an otherwise beautiful person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can imagine that. So when does this Arkham Horror event kick off?
So the event will be held on the Saturday and Sunday, 24th and 25th of November.
Cool. So very soon as well.
It was really short notice as well.
Yeah, that's what struck me actually. But I mean, obviously, there's a demand for it. Hopefully, the success of this event will signal to Fantasy Flight to try and run more like this in the UK as well, because it'd be fun to go to one.
I was looking at going to this one, and then went back to look at the event and saw it was sold out. And
yeah.
Oh well.
But hopefully we get some more. Maybe a little closer to home as well. So
yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Certainly get a truly terrifying experience in some places in Glasgow.
Yeah, I think in particular, see places like Postle.
Aye. We don't go to Postle.
Yeah. There's some people there who they do a bit of mad gibbering and that sort of thing.
It's a bit more like Dunwich, though.
Channeling the spirit of Lovecraft.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Delightful. So that's kind of our roundup of the news. So, like, gaming-wise, what have we been up to?
Well, we played New Bedford, didn't we?
Yes, it feels like we did that a while ago, but yeah, we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So this was one of the games we received from Board Game Crate.
The September Board Game Crate.
So shout out Board Game Crate. We really enjoyed it. Nice little worker placement game set in the town of New Bedford, which is famous for being a historic whaling town.
Yeah.
So the idea being, and it was really clever how it did it, right? Because basically you gather resources so you can send your ships off to go kill some whales and bring them back in. Mm-hmm. And it's whoever's got the most points at the end of the game wins. The easiest way of scoring points is killing whales, right? Which sounds horrible, and it is. But every whale you're killing, you're taking them permanently out of the bag until eventually, as you keep going back out to sea to try and get more whales, it's like, there's no whales here anymore. Well, yeah, you killed them all.
Because here's a fact about whales.
Mm-hmm.
They reproduce quite slowly.
I never even wanted to think of that, but... Yeah.
But it's true, isn't it? Because I mean, that was what happened. Was that they built up this economy that was dependent on whale oil, which is an extremely finite resource. They don't replenish like salmon populations.
Aye. So we were particularly impressed that the game kind of conveyed that, the overhunting of this creature.
Yeah.
In a neat little way without it explicitly telling you this is what's happened. The game just demonstrates that, which I think is really neat. And we've talked in the past about the power of using games as a tool for education.
Yeah.
And I think New Bedford does that really well. Throughout the instruction manual, you've got little tidbits as well about whaling in the United States. A bit about Moby Dick as well, because I believe Moby Dick is set in New Bedford.
I think they go out from Nantucket.
Is it? I beg your pardon.
But New Bedford is mentioned in Moby Dick,
right?
Because there's a couple of quotes from Moby Dick in the
book, the instruction manual. It was. We thought it was very beautifully presented, very polished, nice little worker placement game.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's really neat, like you were saying, is that it actually illustrates why that doesn't work.
Aye.
It's like, you hear it said a lot in sort of literary circles, show don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what New Bedford did.
Yeah.
It didn't go, in this way we are representing the decline of the whaling industry as the population depletes. It didn't have to.
Yeah, it twigged with both of us as we were playing the game. There's a lot less whales appearing now.
One of the things I thought was really neat is that the turn marker is a whale.
Yes.
And it's marching along the turn track, and it's like you're chasing the whale.
Yeah, the white whale.
It's almost like a representation of a certain well-known book about whaling.
Funny that, eh?
Yeah.
Funny that. So no, we were very well impressed with New Bedford and eager to give it another try as well. In terms of what I've been up to, the Pathfinder campaign continues. This is the smoothest segue we've ever done, and I didn't even realise we were doing it, right? My character, Orlan, nearly got killed by a killer whale.
Okay.
My halfling nearly got ate by a killer whale in Pathfinder.
He must have deserved it then.
No one deserves being eaten by a killer whale.
No, but they're intelligent creatures, right? So he must have...
Well, so to give a bit of context, right? We're on this island. Some drow are up to no good.
Are you racial profiling drow, Josh? Are you?
No.
Is that where you're going with this?
No, but I thought I was about to accidentally do a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air so intro with Drow, but so we're investigating it, and we're in this little cave network in a cliffside, right? And we find this big underground lake, which there's a few of the Drow there, and the head honcho of the Drow, the sorceress, is there. And anyway, so we start doing our thing. Like, I'm on the back of my wolf shooting arrows.
There's some people we don't know. Let's shoot them.
Let's kill them. And the sorceress stares at me powerfully in the eyes and
winks at you
and just says to me, "Take a swim." And with that, I fall for a spell and swan dive off Blizzard into the ocean, where an orca was waiting for me.
Hold on, it's an ocean now.
It's like it's an underground lake that's sort of connected to the ocean.
Okay,
It's a cave network.
Okay,
okay.
And
there is an orca which the Drow have been kind of using as a pet, waiting for me.
So how big is this underground lake?
It's big enough for a killer whale.
Bloody hell.
Look, Tom, our GM, took a photo of the event, and honestly, this is how extensive Tom's collection of like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. They call them pawns.
Yeah.
The cardboard cutouts. He has an orca one. He has one for a killer whale. How often does a killer whale come up in Pathfinder?
Less than dragons, weirdly.
Yeah, right? This thing that exists in the real world is less common than dragons.
Yeah.
So, but fortunately... So the killer whale broke my leg. Like, but fortunately I got healed up and dragged out of the water.
They will do that.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, so you picture this, right? The size of a killer whale, and I play a halfling. He's only 3 foot tall. I could have been swallowed whole by the thing.
It's getting ragdolled by this.
Maybe I should have done that. Like, let it swallow me whole, and then fight my way out of its stomach.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well, it tried to kill me.
No, but right. So I don't have any sympathy for you guys.
Why?
Because you always say that you're not really good people. So
probably not. But
so if I was there and saw that, I'd be like, well, it's probably for the best.
Alden's a good person, though.
Is he?
I mean, strictly speaking, he's neutral good.
So he's mediocrity personified.
Sure, that's true neutral. He's got good intentions.
True neutral, otherwise known as Swiss.
Aye. True neutral, otherwise known as, no personality, really. How do you play a true neutral person? I don't think I've ever met someone who's true neutral. Or had their character be true neutral.
It's like that race in Futurama. Yeah. It's like, all I know is my gut says maybe.
Tell my wife I have feelings for her.
Yeah. I think that is true neutral.
Mm-hmm. There we go. There we are.
Yeah.
So that's Orland's latest adventures in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I think should we give Ryan a shout out as well?
Well, I'm not going to say no now.
Okay, I've made this awkward.
Yeah.
Ryan, who is in the other game of Pathfinder that Tom plays, and he took part in the crossover. Sadly, his character got killed.
Are we going to do character obituaries now? Is that going to be a thing?
We'll have a little tasteful video with some sad piano music and like just some still images of the characters just passed away.
Like him at his birthday, like, playing with his dog in the autumn leaves.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
And then GBNF at the end.
Yeah, good night, sweet prince.
Yeah, and then the date.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers are with the Ashen Banner. That's the name of their adventuring company.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, it's a funny thing, Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, these role-playing games, it sounds ridiculous, but you do get attached to your characters,
Well,
and you are, I'm genuinely gutted when a character of mine actually dies.
I don't know why people find that so odd, because you hear of people, welling up at books and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, see, whenever I watch The Fellowship of the Ring, the death of Boromir, spoilers.
Whoa! Whoa!
The death of Boromir always really gets me.
Aye. And it became good in the end.
Well, right, okay. Without getting into it too much, because I could talk all night about Lord of the Rings. In a lot of ways, Boromir is the most relatable character in the Fellowship, because he's flawed.
Yeah.
He struggles with temptation, but he wants to do right by his people.
Yeah.
And like you say, he blows it. But he manages to redeem himself in the end, albeit at the ultimate cost. And Sean Bean, I do still think that it is Sean Bean's finest performance. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
He was fantastic at it. I mean, if you want a guy to play a character who's going to snuff it, you get Sean Bean in, right?
Yeah, apparently. But I say that to say, like, you becoming, we became invested in Boromir's journey, and that, if you watch the film, you're only with that character for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas in a D&D campaign, you're with those characters for hundreds of hours sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it shouldn't be surprising, but you get attached, and it's genuinely gutting.
Yeah, I mean, you could make certain arguments, about books or films maybe being more immersive, but the fact of the matter is that in principle it's the same. Is that you get to know these characters, you become attached to them, and you do feel it.
Yeah.
When they spin off their mortal coil. Yeah.
There we go. So, sorry about that, Ryan. But this happens, and
why are you smiling?
I'm not. What?
I'm talking about death.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
And you're sitting there grinning like a maniac.
We're talking about death, but we are talking about the death of a fictitious character.
But we just had this heartfelt thing about how.
No, and I've ruined it. All right, I've ruined it.
And you're grinning there.
It's a little. It is absurd, but that's why it's an interesting thing to talk about. Why do we become attached to like fictitious characters?
You look like a blonde Jack Nicholson right now.
Shut up, right? Like, we become attached to these fictitious characters, and there's no reason why we should, feel loss when these characters die, but we do. And that's not just true of the characters that we play. This, as you say, books, film, TV shows. We get genuinely gutted when a favourite character of ours dies. So I don't know. Maybe this is one of these things where fiction can teach us a little bit about real life. I don't know.
I would say it does more often than not. I defy all these people that say that that fiction's somehow not valid, because people take inspiration from fiction all the time. Like, see if you speak to a lot of the great innovators of the 21st century and the late 20th century. A lot of them are sci-fi geeks.
Aye.
It's
no,
true.
it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
A lot of them, they grew up reading Isaac Asimov, watching Star Trek and stuff like that.
Well, there's a reason why, like, a lot of those tech devices look like old Star Trek gadgets, right? Yeah. It's because the people who designed them used to watch Star Trek. Yeah. So
our stories do inform our reality in one way or another. Be that the inspirational deeds of some fictitious character, or something as simple as like Asimov's law of robotics and the way that logic has been applied in certain ways within programming and development of AI.
Yeah, and it's not just in technology. I did a very short course at university about forensic science, and it wasn't like in depth. This was sort of a beginner's overall guide. A very interesting course, and what the lecturer said. Forensic science is almost unique in that one of the most influential figures in this field is a fictitious character. Sherlock Holmes. A lot of forensic science, the methodology behind forensic science process. Is Sherlock Holmes' process. First eliminate the impossible, then naturally all you are left with is what's actually happened. And that's the approach that, CSI investigators do. Like try and remove what's impossible. So yeah, fiction has a huge bearing on real life. This got remarkably deep.
Yeah,
we've gone off the deep end. We were gonna talk about Arates for a bit, but
we will talk about that in a future episode. But I think that
this is a good place to sign off.
I think so.
So genuinely gutted for Ryan and the loss of his character. But with each loss, a new opportunity arises. So I'm sure he'll create a new compelling character to carry on with.
To go back to the Boromir illustration, it was one of the most impactful and significant events within that story.
Yeah.
And even think like the cast all did a phenomenal job acting out that scene. Like they see down to the bit where he takes the first arrow and he thinks that's it, but then he looks at Merry and Pippin and how lost and vulnerable they look and decides to keep fighting.
Yeah.
So it gives you goosebumps just thinking about it.
I need to watch Lord of the Rings again.
Yeah.
Incredible films.
But and I dare say that what happened to Ryan's character, that's going to be talked about by everyone that was involved in that in years to come.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those memorable moments.
A hallmark of that campaign.
And, even if that character's not going to be there anymore, the other characters, if they go on to have other campaigns, the legacy of that character compared to a lot of the characters that will survive is now so much more potent.
Exactly. So, on that rather heavy note, thank you very much for listening, guys. Let us know what you think. Tell us about some of your past and present characters. What they mean to you. It'll be good to hear from a few of our
any
listeners.
Of those dramatic moments that you've maybe experienced as well. Would love to hear about that.
Yeah.
Or if you've got an Unlucky Frog t-shirt and you've got a picture in an exotic location, or
with weaponry or without weaponry, doesn't have to have a weapon. Although I think Scott has now set a standard.
Yeah, this is where we're now going to get a picture from like an African warlord or something like that. Like
just sat on a throne of guns. I have been a massive fan of the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast ever since I conquered this neighbouring township.
We can dream.
No, let's not continue down this route. Right.
Okay.
Anyway, on that note, guys, have a good night. Goodbye.
Hi everyone, it's Charlotte from the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Now be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. All you need to do is search Unlucky Frog Gaming. You can also show your support for the Unlucky Frog through Patreon. To find out more information, check out our website www.unluckyfrog.com. Thanks, bye!